You sit down at the dinner table tonight, just like you do every single night. The plate in front of you smells familiar, warm. It feels like home. Maybe it is the same soup you have been making for 30 years, the same bread you toast every morning, the same seasoning your mother used before you. Nothing about this moment feels dangerous. Nothing about this moment feels like a warning. And yet, right now, something is happening inside your chest that you cannot feel, cannot see, and cannot hear. Your arteries are working harder than they should. Your heart is straining against walls that are slowly, quietly getting narrower. Do you know what is doing that to you? And if I told you that the very meal you believe is keeping you healthy might be one of the greatest threats your heart has ever faced, would you believe me? Stay with me, because what I am about to share with you today could change everything. I recorded this video with a heaviness in my chest that I cannot ignore. Because as a doctor who has spent years sitting across from patients just like you, I know exactly what is at stake here. Every single week, in my practice, I see at least 2 or 3 people who did everything they thought was right. They cooked at home, they avoided fast food, they took their medications faithfully, and still they sat down in front of me with blood pressure numbers that would not stabilize, cholesterol levels that would not budge, and a heart that was quietly, invisibly struggling. And when we finally started going through what was on their plates, the answer was always there, right there, hidden in the foods they trusted the most. That is what keeps me up at night. Not the patients who know they are making bad choices. It is the ones who genuinely believe they are doing fine, because those are the ones the heart attack finds completely off guard. So I need you to stay with me today. What I am going to share with you is not meant to scare you. It is meant to open your eyes before it is too late, and I promise you there is still time. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 worst enemies your heart is facing right now, hiding in the very foods you trust the most. And I promise you, by the time we get to number 1, you are going to be genuinely shocked, because it is nothing you would ever expect. I need you to watch this until the very end, and please share this video with someone you love. Send it to that friend, to your spouse, to a brother or sister who sits down to the same meals every single day without knowing what is happening inside their chest. This video is informative and educational, and it does not replace a visit to your own doctor, but it might be the reason you finally make that appointment. Agreed? Then let us get started. Before I show you the list, I need you to understand something about how your heart actually works. Because once you understand this, everything else I am going to tell you will make much more sense. And trust me, it will stay with you forever. Think about the plumbing inside your house. You have pipes running through the walls, carrying water to every room. When those pipes are clean and wide open, water flows easily, the pressure is just right, and everything works the way it should. Now imagine that, over the years, someone has been quietly pouring grease down those pipes every single day. Little by little, a layer builds up on the inside walls. The pipe does not burst overnight. You would not even notice it at first. But the water has less and less room to flow through. The pressure has to increase just to push the water from one room to the next. And one day, without any warning, the pipe gives out completely. That is exactly what is happening inside your arteries right now if you have been eating the wrong foods for years. The medical name for it is atherosclerosis, which simply means the buildup of fatty deposits along the walls of your blood vessels. And your heart, that tireless muscle beating roughly 100,000 times every single day, is working harder and harder against those narrowing walls, straining against a resistance that grows silently with every meal. Here is a number that stops most of my patients cold. Your heart pumps approximately 2,000 gallons of blood through your body every single day. 2,000 gallons. Through a network of blood vessels that, if you stretch them out in a line, would circle the earth more than twice. The American Heart Association confirms that cardiovascular disease is still the #1 cause of death in the United States, responsible for 1 in every 5 deaths recorded each year. And the most terrifying part is that in the majority of cases, the first symptom a person ever notices is the heart attack itself. So when I tell you that what is on your dinner plate tonight is either cleaning those pipes or slowly clogging them, I mean that with everything I have as a physician, and I need you to pay very close attention to what comes next. Enemy number 5. And this one is going to surprise many of you because we have been told for years that it is the enemy of the waistline. But today I need to show you what it is doing to your heart. Refined sugar. Tell me, how many times this week have you poured a glass of juice with breakfast, had a flavored yogurt in the afternoon, reached for a packaged cookie or a sweet biscuit without a second thought? I am not asking to make you feel guilty. I am asking because I have this exact conversation in my practice every single week. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine following more than 40,000 adults over 15 years found that people who consumed more than 25% of their daily calories from added sugar were more than twice as likely to die from heart disease. Twice as likely. These were not people with diabetes or known conditions. These were ordinary people eating ordinary food every day. Here is what most people never learn. When your liver receives more refined sugar than it can process, it converts the excess into triglycerides, fatty particles that travel through your bloodstream and begin depositing along your artery walls. Think of it like a waste treatment facility that is receiving far more material than it was built to handle. When the system gets overwhelmed, it starts releasing untreated waste back into the water supply. That water supply is your blood. Carol, a 64-year-old grandmother from Charlotte, North Carolina, came to my office 6 months ago after her doctor flagged her cholesterol. She watched her grandchildren every day and ate alongside them, defaulting to packaged juice, flavored crackers, and the occasional frozen dessert. She told me she barely ate sugar. When we tracked everything for 1 week together, she was consuming over 70 grams of hidden sugar daily without realizing it. After 6 weeks of swapping bottled juice for plain water with a slice of lemon, replacing flavored yogurt with unsweetened Greek yogurt, and reaching for whole fruit instead of packaged snacks, her triglyceride levels dropped 38%. She looked at me and said, "I had absolutely no idea I was doing this to myself." What you can do starting today. First, eliminate bottled fruit juices from your morning routine and choose whole fruit instead because the fiber in whole fruit slows down how quickly sugar enters your blood. Second, read the label on your yogurt and oatmeal packets. If sugar appears among the first 3 ingredients, choose a different brand. Third, whenever the afternoon craving hits, keep a banana, an apple, or a handful of berries within reach. Enemy number 5 is real. But what comes next is something you may be spreading on your toast right now, this very morning, without any idea of what it is quietly doing inside your arteries. Enemy number 4, trans fats. You may have heard that trans fats were banned, and it is true that the United States took steps to remove partially hydrogenated oils from food manufacturing beginning in 2018. But here is what most people were never told. Hundreds of products still legally contain up to 0.5 gram per serving. Eat 2 or 3 servings, and those amounts add up faster than you think. How many of you still have a stick of margarine in the refrigerator? How many of you keep packaged crackers, store-bought pie crusts, or microwave popcorn bags in the pantry? I know the answer because I hear it in my office week after week. Research published in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that for every 2% increase in calories from trans fat, the risk of heart disease rises by 23%. 23% from a single dietary pattern. And the reason trans fats are so dangerous is that they do 2 things at once. They raise your LDL, the harmful cholesterol, while simultaneously lowering your HDL, the protective one. They also spark vascular inflammation, the internal fire that weakens artery walls and makes plaques more likely to crack open and cause a sudden cardiac event. Bob, a 71-year-old retired contractor from Nashville, Tennessee, had margarine on his toast every morning for over 30 years. He thought he was being smart because margarine always seemed lighter than butter, but the brand he was buying still contained partially hydrogenated oils. His LDL would not budge despite medication. When he switched to a small amount of extra virgin olive oil on whole grain bread and stopped buying the packaged crackers he snacked on every evening, his LDL dropped 17 points in 8 weeks. He told me with a smile, I thought I was doing the healthy thing all along. What you can do right now. First, replace stick margarine with a small amount of extra virgin olive oil. A little goes a long way. Second, check the ingredient list on any cracker, pastry, or packaged snack you buy. If you see the words partially hydrogenated oil anywhere on that label, set it back on the shelf. Third, if you love popcorn in the evenings, switch to air-popped popcorn with a light drizzle of olive oil and a pinch of dried herbs instead of the microwave bag. Now stay with me, because what I'm about to show you next is something that most people have in their refrigerator right now, inside products they trust completely, and the numbers behind it are going to stop you cold. Before we continue, I want to take just a moment to connect with you. Tell me in the comments right now, where are you watching me from? Write your city down there. I genuinely love knowing where you all are. And if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, click that subscribe button right now and ring the bell, so you never miss what comes next. Now, let us keep going, because the next item on this list is one that millions of people eat every single day, believing with all their heart that it is actually good for them. And now, we arrive at number 1. And this one, I will be honest with you, is going to surprise the vast majority of people watching this video right now, because it is not a food, it is not a sauce. It is not something you find on a nutrition label. It is something you do every single evening without a second thought, something that feels so normal, so innocent, so completely harmless, that it would never in a million years cross your mind as a threat to your heart. Number 1 is eating while distracted, sitting in front of the television with your dinner plate on your lap, scrolling through your phone while you finish your meal, watching the news while you chew. It is the habit of mindless eating, and I promise you, the science behind what this does to your cardiovascular system is going to change the way you think about every meal you sit down to from this point forward. Think about this for a moment. When your mind is focused on a screen, your brain is not registering the meal in front of you the way it should. Your satiety signals, the messages your stomach sends to your brain saying, "Enough, we are full," are delayed. They take about 20 minutes to arrive under the best conditions. When you are distracted, those signals are even slower, even quieter, and your hand keeps moving toward the plate long after your body has had what it needs. It is like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a crowd. The message is being sent, you just cannot hear it. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that distracted eaters consumed up to 25% more calories per meal than those who ate without screens. And here is the part that concerns me most as a physician. Those extra calories are not coming from salad. They are coming from the sodium-heavy dishes, the processed sides, the bread and crackers sitting on the table while the news plays in the background. Every mindless meal is, statistically, a higher sodium meal, a higher sugar meal, a higher trans fat meal. And then there is what happens right after dinner. Bob, the 71-year-old retired contractor from Nashville in our earlier story, did not just eat a heavy meal. He sat back in his recliner immediately after and fell asleep in front of the television, almost every night. And that habit, lying flat and motionless right after a large processed meal, causes triglycerides and blood sugar to spike at exactly the moment your body has the least ability to process them. Your nighttime blood pressure rises. Your heart is working harder during the hours it should be recovering. Research from the European Heart Journal showed that people who fell asleep within 30 minutes of eating a heavy meal had significantly elevated nighttime blood pressure readings compared to those who stayed lightly active for at least an hour after dinner. Your heart deserves a moment to ease into rest, not to be handed a flood of sodium and sugar and then forced to manage it all while you sleep. What you can do right now. First, make one rule at the dinner table starting tonight. The screen goes off, just for the duration of the meal. You will eat less without trying. Second, after dinner, take a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk, even if it is just around the block or around your living room. This one habit alone has been shown to reduce post-meal blood sugar and triglyceride spikes significantly. Third, pay attention to how full you feel halfway through your plate. Put your fork down for 30 seconds. Let the signal reach your brain. You may find that half of what you were about to eat was never actually needed. The quietest enemy is the one wearing the most familiar face. And this one has been sitting right there in your living room every single night. Now I need to talk to you about something very important. Because everything I have shared with you today means nothing if you do not know what to look for inside your own body, and I want you to listen to this part very carefully. If you wake up most mornings feeling unusually tired, even after a full night of sleep, that is your heart telling you something. If you notice that your ankles or your feet look puffy by the end of the day, that swelling may be a sign that your heart is struggling to push fluid back up efficiently. If you feel short of breath climbing a flight of stairs or walking to the mailbox, and that was not always the case, pay attention to that change. If you have been noticing a fullness or pressure in your chest after meals, especially heavy ones, do not dismiss it. If your heart sometimes beats in a way that feels irregular, fluttery, or faster than it should without a clear reason, that is worth a conversation with your doctor. If you recognize any of these signs in your own body, please ask your doctor about a few specific tests by name. Ask for a lipid panel to check your LDL, HDL, and triglyceride levels. Ask for a fasting blood glucose and a hemoglobin A1C, which will tell you how your blood sugar has been behaving over the past 3 months, not just on the day of the test. Ask for a complete metabolic panel to check how your kidneys and liver are handling the load. And ask whether a resting electrocardiogram, commonly called an EKG, might be appropriate for you. These are straightforward, widely available tests. Most of them are covered by Medicare and by most insurance plans. Your primary care doctor can order all of them in a single visit. Do not wait for a dramatic symptom. The heart rarely sends a dramatic signal until the situation is already serious. These quiet signs are the ones worth acting on now, while there is still everything to gain. So let me bring it all together for you right now, because I want you to leave this video with something you can actually use today. First, turn the screen off at dinner, just for the duration of the meal. No television, no phone. Eat slowly, put your fork down between bites, and let your body tell you when it has had enough. Second, after your next meal, take a gentle 10 to 15-minute walk. Around the block, around your living room, it does not matter. This one habit alone helps your body process blood sugar and triglycerides before they have a chance to settle into your arteries overnight. Third, replace stick margarine with a small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. It is a simple swap that your arteries will feel within weeks. Fourth, choose whole fruit over bottled juice every single morning. The fiber makes all the difference in how quickly sugar enters your blood. Fifth, the next time you pick up a packaged food at the store, flip it over and read 3 things: the sodium content, the sugar content, and whether the words partially hydrogenated oil appear anywhere on that label. If they do, put it back. Sixth, call your doctor this week and ask for a lipid panel, a hemoglobin A1C, and a blood pressure review. Bring this list with you if you need to. Preventive care saves lives. And the best time to start is always right now. A study published in The Lancet as part of the Global Burden of Disease Project found that poor diet is responsible for 11 million deaths every single year worldwide. More than tobacco, more than high blood pressure alone, 11 million people. And the researchers concluded that the single greatest dietary risk factor driving those deaths was not poison, not alcohol, not anything exotic. It was the ordinary food sitting on ordinary tables, eaten by ordinary people who never once thought to question it. The health of your heart is not a lottery. It is not random. It is not fate. It is the result of the choices you make every single day, at every single meal, in every single quiet moment, when no one is watching but your arteries are. You are here because you care. You stayed until the end of this video, and that already tells me everything I need to know about you. That right there is a step that millions of people never take. So please do not let this stop here. Share this video right now with someone who needs to hear it. Send it to your spouse. Send it to that friend who puts salt on everything before even tasting it. Send it to that brother or sister who you know goes straight from the dinner table to the couch every single night. You may not be able to sit across from them in a doctor's office, but you can give them what I gave you today. And in our next video, I am going to show you something that happens inside your body while you sleep that most people have absolutely no idea about, and that your doctor may never have mentioned to you. You will not want to miss that one. Take very good care of yourself. Always seek out your own trusted doctor. May God bless you and grant you a long life full of health. See you in the next video.